All right, round five is live. We have Olaribigbe Hakeem going against Malek. Sherif is currently the eighth highest rated player in Liberia, and Olaribigbe Hakeem is a very strong player from Nigeria. So I expect to see a lot of amazing gameplay from both players in this game. What do you think, Okpe Uluwa?
Well, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this one. I see Roland and I see Akim, so this promises to be exciting. Immediately, we see TUX come down by Roland.
All right, not much to think about on that turn. Maybe Zax or Zex, but playing TUX and retaining the Z seems pretty understandable on this turn. And it's back to Akim now with Morreiy. I'm unsure what those last two tiles are, but I believe they are I.
Yeah, a little difficulty in saying their tells. I believe that should be adjusted soon. Okay, I think it's Ormeirt, I believe. Okay, I believe the names are not yet updated. It should be Malik, not Roland, and then Akim Olaribigbe. So immediately we see how why you from Akim come down. They're playing pretty fast, and I see Res come down for 32 points. Still a little difficulty in seeing Hakim's rack, but I believe I see Yoametr. I believe.
Okay, yeah, that's true. These both players are playing pretty fast. We saw Akim opt for RYU, keeping things very close on that turn. He had the option of YOM to the left of Talks, but we see him keeping things tight, and Malik playing REZ2, following suit, keeping the board pretty close. And now Akim has made the move of Mazy, Mazy.
Okay. Wasting no time, I see Malik hooking the P to the res, playing rap. Rap scores 28 points, I believe, leaving TON, and is back to Akim. We see OAKTREE. What do you think are his options here? So,
Yeah, we can see him arrange oak tree, but I don't know if that's a valid word.
I'm not so sure it is a valid word, but I think it could play OKE just underneath rap for 26 points with a solid lead of AERT. Also, if he's trying to score more at the same spot, he could play AKEE, the E hooking the W and the second E hooking the R of rap. That scores 35 points, leaving ORT. What do you think about those options, Mateo?
Yeah, this
Okay, I
seem
think
pretty reasonable. He has gone for OKE, yeah, and it's back to Malik now with Eletion. We see him arranging the tiles, perhaps hoping for a C to play election, but um, I'm not quite sure the options
Well,
he has on this turn. Maybe,
energetic, well, I do not see any chance of playing a bingo on this turn. He might want to fish, maybe possibly balance. He could play OE right underneath OKE, leaving EILNT. So I
yeah, that
think he's
seems
going
pretty
for.
standard here.
I think he went for LIE instead.
Yeah, that shuts down the board a
Yeah,
bit.
LIE was
AE
played
takes
instead.
no back hook, so that side of the board is definitely closed up for now.
Yeah, definitely. Now it's back to Akeem. I think I see. Okay, be blocked. Okay, I think I see HATRERL. Immediately we see HAT come down.
All right, we're saying both players play really, really, really fast.
Yeah, definitely. They still have about 60 minutes on both their times, and I think it's back to Malik right now with a rack of NEUSTON. Now, what do you think you should play here, Excel?
We saw him considering a move like Newston, but um, I'm not sure there's a space for that bingo on the board currently. So we see him go for UN instead, looking XU, trying to leave the best house possible. And it sort of opens a spot for a straight seven, perhaps starting with UNS or something. And again, Akeem wasting no time, already playing his next move of OB.
Okay, Kim is in fact a very fast player. OB has been committed for 31 points. Now I'm curious to see what Sherif picks and if he's going to be able to bingo on this turn. Okay, so we might be seeing a bingo. I believe they picked he has ASTONED, which I did see him arrange. So he could play as toned as he arranged, just the S hooking the UN, or he could play on steed. Yes, the same spots, S hooking the UN and the O of Onstead hooking the Y of Maisie. So I believe he's going for a stoned instead.
Yeah, Onstead would definitely score the most points for 74, and at Stone only score 69, which is 5 points less. But still, Aston is a really good play there, and it's back to Hakim now with FELAERS. I have a feeling this move either is on hold or Sharif is just taking time to stretch and yawn a bit. I'm unsure why he has not replenished his styles yet. Okay, I think Sherif hasn't committed this move yet, and wow, we are seeing
Okay, I
a
think we're
challenge.
seeing a
Okay,
challenge. Interesting. So that would be oh, interesting. So it's UNS that is being challenged.
oh wow.
Wow.
I was about to say maybe Akim was confused about like Astonid and thinking Aston was incorrect, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
actually thought of that.
UNS was the issue there. Anyways, it's it happens. Certain words could evade you sometimes. So I came now with Ferales.
I believe he has a bingo through the E of Astoned. This is
Yeah, that's
eel
true.
fairy.
Yeah, that's one word that evades me a lot of times, and having to think through the e float there is not something you would naturally think of because you would want to think through the floaters like the N and D. But as we can see, Hakeem sharp as ever and proving why is one of the top players in Africa and in Nigeria, spotting ill fares and plunking it down.
This is very interesting and impressive to see. Efes has been committed by Akim for 63 points. Current score, not sure the scores are updated yet.
But yeah, from our
Okay,
POV, it should be Hakim's 177 to Sheriff's 203.
okay. I think Ilfez was challenged, and that's a 5 point score more for Akim.
Oh, well, it's back to Sheriff with Dunamwi, and we see him playing Dunam, scoring pretty well in the top right corner of the board.
Well, would you make this move,
That's
Excel? Although he does score pretty well, I think 40 solid points, leaving IW, but opens the triple lane.
Yeah, I mean the board is wide open already. The A in Astoned down to the triple letter score is something pretty risky already with an uh, X. Okay, maybe the X is played already, but with a high scoring tile there, you could score really well. So I think taking his 40 points, leaving the board open, if Hakim plays towards that side, then hopefully he can come back and play to the A of Aston. So I guess scoring as much as he can here is the best he can do.
Definitely, definitely. All right, it's back to I came with GECSIEP.
Yeah, one of his options here would be to play CEPE. Um, Let me see if I can show to the right hand side of the board there. CEPE scores 37 points. And if you want, you could, add the S, scoring 6 extra points, leaving IG. But I think understanding the S is, pretty important. And CEP here would be one of his top choices.
Okay, so I think
Yeah,
you can start going for CEP instead. All right.
that's understandable. But the difference in score between CEP and CEP is 9. Just adding that E is an extra 9 points. So I think it's worth considering playing out the four-letter one instead of the three. But still, I guess it's trying to keep the best leave as he can. And back to Sheriff. really fast players
Immediately
laying down offer.
45 points. Wow, Sheriff is really catching on. Played 45 the previous round, and he played 50, I believe, previous round, and 45 now. Immediately, Akeem is playing OGEE, leaving high he has. What do you think about this move, Excel?
Yeah, truly there wasn't a lot to do in that turn. After the leave of GIES, I'm sure he was hoping for a lot better tiles, but he went into the bag and picked OEE alongside that. And on this board, OGEE scoring 24 points is the best he can do, leaving IES.
Definitely, and wasting no time, we see Akeem playing.
I believe he played QUOIT, leaving DOW. When you have the Q and then there's a floating U on the board, I mean, definitely you just have to play through that Q. And consider the fact that there are no other U's left to be picked in the bag, it's not worth considering leaving the Q on that turn. So QUOIT seemed pretty solid there. And back to Hakim, who has already made his move, playing a hand, the sport I was talking about earlier rather, scoring 39 points. All right,
Okay, so I
Malik
think
with
the
WIDVAOT has gone for wind.
are we seeing a bingo?
Yeah, I was saying the first blank of this game, more than 70 tiles played, and finally the first blank has come down and a bingo from Hakim playing Dealings.
Wow. Think it's very interesting how this game has turned around.
Yeah, from the very start, we saw Malik, leading and extending his lead further, even after the reply of Akim playing ill fears. 240 point scores followed from Malik, and he has been maintaining his lead. But now, with the last move of Dealings, for the first time, Akim has a slight lead in this game.
Definitely. Dylan scores 83 points and pushing him a bit further. And interestingly, we see the second blank of the game on Sherif's rack.
Yeah, with AVIATO blank. A floating N would have given him aviation or a floating I, but unfortunately, there are no bingos for him on this turn. So he has to decide if he's opening up somewhere else on the board or he just wants to go for his highest scores. And I think moves like Voima, it's really unsure what he can do on this turn without obstructing the floaters and also trying to open something else. But maybe ABO atop the T in QUOIT is worth considering.
I think playing AVO, leaving AIT blank, is not such a bad idea. If he's trying not to block his chances, considering he has the blank and if he hopes to bingo, this is a very critical turn for him.
Yes, indeed. Uh, ABO takes, of course, the back hook S, and there are just one S left at the bag, but at least he has the blank, maybe to hook that. Offer, I believe, takes a couple of back hooks, sorry, front hooks, if I'm not mistaken. It takes the C, the D, and the G. So maybe he wants to try as much as possible not to obstruct that lane.
Yeah, that might be something worth considering as well. But other options that I see for him to play on this turn would still definitely block that. Because you mentioned Voima earlier, if he plays through the E of Efes and play Voima, that does obstruct the offer took. I think other options might be to play maybe over, but nevertheless, this tends to block off the board. So if he's trying to open up and bingo in his next turn, he has to think really well.
Yeah, very well said. Most of his top choices, playing out the V and leaving the best leaves, would obstruct the bingo lanes I have highlighted on the board now. The offer hook is there, and you could still play atop the I and T in quite. But right now, most of his top choices like AVO would be obstructing that straight seven spot, and maybe AIT in this corner is something you might want to do. The only downside is it's leaving the V.
Hmm. Top choices here to make for Sherif Malik. So I believe the current scores are 3-4-5 for Sherif to Hakeem's 3-5-6. Now at this point, it's very hard to determine which game this is going to be, considering they are very close, and this game could take a very interesting turn in the end
Yeah,
game. I'm very curious to see how it turns out. It turns out.
yeah, and it's worth noting that there are only four vowels left to be played in this game. And if we take a sneak peek into Akim's rack, we can see three of those vowels are already with Akim. That's to say, the only vowel that Malik can pick after this move is the I, and there are just a bunch of consonants waiting for him in the bag. Right now, there are five tiles on scene from his POV, and in those five tiles, there is only one vowel there. So maybe it's something he has to consider on this turn, trying to keep as many vowels as he can, and also leave a considerably good rack leave, and also trying to score as much as he can.
Definitely, definitely worth considering. So maybe that is why he has been taking his time on this turn.
But I think one major threat that um, Malik has to worry about is the QUOIT hook. That takes the back hook S, and with the J on saying a move like jives up that triple lane would score really heavily. But we can see he's playing the long game, trying to stay patient and going for his highest move of AIT.
Interesting. Okay, but him playing VAS from the S of dealings shows that his chances of winning this game would increase by 88%. But he opted for AIT instead.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
guess his thought process there is just to go for as much points as he can, and since he has the blank to hook QUOIT later on, then I guess he's feeling pretty positive and confident that he would be the first to hit that juicy spot on the board now.
Hmm. Okay, let's see how this turns out. Nejairis for Akim.
Yeah, we can see Akim, in fact, has the S but doesn't have any inspiring move hooking the Quoit. I'm sure if he had a V playing jives, there would be something he would play almost instantly. But the J right now can't score
Yeah.
at that spot. So I'm
I
looking
think
to
it could
see what he would
play
try to do.
Injera instead. From the A of AIT to the triple lane, I believe, it could play Injera. Yes.
Yeah, that's something worth considering. But once again, it needs to be very careful. We can see, even though he was a very fast player from the start of the game, but now we can see he's taking his time. Injera would empty the bag because right now there are two tiles left unseen, and he knows that the blank is still out there. So playing Injera and emptying the bag, leaving a really easy seven tiles play for Sherry if he has a bingo there would be something he would be worried about. So we can see he's taking his time trying to dot his I's and cross his T's.
Yeah, definitely. I believe most of these fast players we do see on stream during the end game, they tend to take their time, which is a very crucial skill in this game. But we, from our own POV, we know um, there's no seven that he could finish with. So Injera would definitely be his winning move, and I believe that is exactly what he's going for.
Yeah, well said. Although Malik has bingos like vocable or vocably, unfortunately they would not fit beneath the Injera move.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately for Malik, he won't be able to bingo out and subsequently winning this game. So I believe Akim has done his diligence while tracking and probably knows what his opponent is left with and went for that move.
yeah, true, but still, the score difference isn't that much out of reach. Hakim is on 398 to Malik's 365, just a 33-point difference. And from Hakim's peak, he has VIIS, which would make it really difficult to finish next turn. So maybe there is a setup play or two more finishing that Sheriff can make that would win him this game. It's still unsure, but who knows?
Okay, I believe if he plays up Volt, that is if he's willing to use his blank right now and play up Volt just underneath the EW, going through the triple word score, that would increase his chances of winning this game, considering that scores about 36, 38, I believe, leaving just C. Yes. What do you
True.
think about that?
And if that is played, the only winning move for Akim after that is to play VIS Okin Coits, which I think definitely is something Akim would do, except is doubting that Coit takes the back hook S. So after upvote is played, if Malik spots it, of course, VIS would be the only winning move for Akim. Meanwhile, Sherif would finish with Kofa. But for this sequence to work, Malik has to find upvote first, which would score 38 points. So let's see if he could, spot that. Another move would be alcove on that in that spot. I'm sure it's something he's looking at. And
Yeah,
wow, alcove is what he has spotted there.
interesting. So alcove it is.
So yeah, it's still pretty much the same sequence. After this move of alcove, VIS here is still the top choice for Hakim to win this game because the highest scoring spot for Malik's B is just here, scoring 9 points. So VIS is a must find for Hakim after
Understand.
this move.
Hmm. Very tight end game,
I think
yeah.
yeah, it
Curious to
all
see
boils down
who is.
to this last few moves. If Akim is sure of the quoits hook, then VIS is definitely the best he can do here.
All in all, I think this has been a very interesting game. Both players started really fast. We saw I learned some new words today. I believe that's Ilfers, and that came down pretty quick from Akim. And we had a bunch of challenges as well. Ilfers was challenged, Asund was challenged, and yeah, it's been a very beautiful game, a very tight game from both players. They've been going at neck to neck, and it all comes down to this last move that will determine who wins the round five of the Scrabble Mania live here in Monrovia, Liberia.
It's worth noting that 4 rounds have been played so far, and there are only two players who have gone unbeaten. We have Wikitli currently at the top of the standings, and next up is Canton Fred. Right on their heels, Tachi Charles from Ghana, the last edition winner, is in third place. But this is round four, and we're having 30 rounds over the course of the weekend. There's still a lot more Scrabble to be played, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of upsets before even today ends.
Definitely, definitely, it's been very exciting. We apologize once again for the bit of the break in transmission that we had, but we promise it's going to go very smooth and bring you all the suspense, the beautiful game of Scrabble live here in Liberia. And interestingly, Akim has found his winning move of VIS. Wow. Now we just be
Yeah,
left with I
BAE,
don't think
yeah.
there's really much you
Oh,
can
we are
do.
having a
Okay,
challenge.
interesting.
Yes, I'm sure Sherif has saying that with that move, it's definitely going to be a win for Hakim. And the only way he can win this game is if QUITS or VIS is invalid. Right now, he can only finish out with BAE, yeah, or BOHO, yeah, which scores 9 points. Those are his highest two options right now to finish this game.
Wow. This has been a suspense filled game. I'm sure Sheriff must be feeling so bad knowing but irrespective of the move he makes now is not going to be enough to win. But fortunately for Akim, yeah, he has in fact sealed the win for this round. And yeah, it's been very, very exciting to watch from the beginning to the end. How do you feel about this game, Phil?
Yeah, I think it's really worth noting that um, during the start of this game, there was hardly any point where Hakim was leading or had an advantage per se, because we saw Sherif scoring really well, and even after a stone came down from Sherif and the reply of Ilfez, Sherif was still leading, and he kept scoring 40 points for Dunham, 45 points for Offa. But I think the turning points was Dillings played by Hakeem, and then right after Injera scoring 42 points. But I'm curious if there was anything better that Sheriff could have done when he played AIT. I think that was where he might have, erred in this game. It's still unsure how things would have played out exactly, but that Injera for 42 points is just way too much. And if that AIT was not played, then there was no way Akim would have had a 42 score option available in that turn.
Definitely, because I think I mentioned during that turn that in playing BIA to the S of dealings for Vias would have increased his chances of winning this game by 88%. Definitely, AIT was a bad move made by Malik, and it really
Yeah,
changed the dynamics of this game for him.
yeah, I guess in his head he just wanted to go for as many points as he can. And if you really think about it though, ending with A, or playing a six-letter word ending with A, is not as easy to come by as you'd think. So AIT there did not seem that harmful during that turn, but it's Scrabble, and things happen. So officially saying the end of this game, Olaribigbe came on 425 to Malik's 414. I believe would be seeing a break now. 5 rounds have been played, and we are entering into the break for today's games. There are still 5 more rounds to go later on, so make sure you stick around. And it's worth noting that the prize pool for this year is $6,000, and the winner is going to cut away with $2,000 at the end of this tournament. So there's a lot at stake here, and we are seeing the best of